Jeff, my beautiful prince, we have a massive problem. You, sir, have absolutely ruined the Game Awards with these nominations. I mean, for God's sake, no Stellar Blade, no Space Marines 2, no Bluey the video game? Relax, Jeff, my friend. I have a few solutions that we can go over to make the Game Awards better. First, I think we should start with the name. Game Awards is a bit too broad. Let's think more unique. The Keeleys, the Jeff Awards, the Game-onomicons. What do you think, Jeff? No, Jeff. Norman Reed will not save the Game Awards. And stop listening to Kojima. He's rotting your brain.
So, what a pickle, huh? The Game Award nominations have been revealed and everyone is perfectly happy with the picks, huh? So, big shocker. Days without the internet being upset has gone from 0 to 0. Good job, new world record set. But in all seriousness, the Game Award nominations just went up probably either today or yesterday at the time of this video, and man, I gotta tell you, I actually like them. Look, you're entitled to think whatever you want to think, but in my opinion, every game that felt like it deserved some kind of recognition this year got it. Not just obvious picks like Monkey Game and Robot Game and Sad Game, but genuine, I'd say pretty solid B-tier games like Stellar Blade, Space Marines 2, and Helldivers, and more got the recognition they deserved. In my humble opinion, outside of a certain category, every category feels like it's filled with deserving and familiar faces, and the ones that aren't, well, they didn't apply that much to me to begin with. Upon a shocking revelation a few days ago, the Keeleys are under the attack of a very prominent problem, which I'd like to call lack of positive innovation. For you see, a few days ago, as I'm sure we're all aware, the Game Awards announced that DLCs, expansions, remakes, and remasters are all eligible for Game of the Year, and other categories included, which means DLCs like... Yeah, let's be real here. This entire announcement and decision was based entirely on Shadow of the Erdtree, which, let's play defensive real quick. Shadow of the Erdtree was arguably the most hyped gaming product this year by far by the public, one of the most critically acclaimed gaming experiences of the year, and is in a realm matched by only the game it comes from and a select tier of other games. So, if any DLC was going to be viable for Game of the Year, it would be this one. But that doesn't justify it at all. Yeah, as much as I'd like to pretend that Shadow of the Erdtree is such a good DLC, it stands on its own as its own game, there is an invulnerable $60 wall that says otherwise. Bottom line, I know it, you know it, Jeff knows it, the entirety of Twitter knows it, which is shocking. You can't play Shadow of the Erdtree without owning Elden Ring. Thus, it is not a game. Thus, it cannot be capable of winning Game of the Year. And it being capable of it this year is faulty decisioning on my boy Jeff's part and the entirety of the jury's part. Thankfully, it's not going to win. How do I know? Walk with me, my friends. We're going to talk about something being rigged. Yes, rigged. I know we all love it. Who doesn't love manipulating the game? Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this. Do I think the Game Awards are rigged? 100% absolutely. No doubt in my mind. However, I think the way it's rigged isn't to its detriment. It's more a positive in a way. There's a certain dilemma the gaming community has where it can't seem to grasp whether or not it actually likes or dislikes remakes and remasters. Like, let's take my example. Let's take my opinion, for example. I love remakes. My second favorite game this year was a remake of one of my favorite games. Persona 3 Reload, Silent Hill 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Final Fantasy 7. These are experiences that modern audiences deserve to experience in the modern quality that they've grown accustomed to. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Do you? Probably you do, but that's okay. However, there's two sides to this that are both equally valid. One would argue that remakes deserve to be seen in their own light because of how outside of the narrative premise, the entire game is built from the ground up. They typically have a new team using new resources. Hell, they usually have to remake the entire game, thus the name remake. However, another side would argue that they're impressive, but the Game Awards should aim to give more awards to newer ideas. I guess people care more about seeing new ideas prosper than whatever is actually the most well-rounded experience of the year. That Keeley Awards are 100% on board with this. Why do I think so? Because since their conception, Remakes don't get nominated for Game of the Year that often. It's actually pretty rare, and when it does happen, they always lose. We know there's never been a remake that has won Game of the Year. The Game Awards simultaneously acknowledge that remakes are well-made products, but can't fully give them the recognition because of the weird position they're in the gaming hemisphere. So, is there a solution? Ban remakes and remasters from the Game Awards? Burn down the Game Awards? Replace Jeff Keighley? No, and absolutely not. This problem is actually really easy to fix in my humble opinion. However, it's not in any of our hands. Not me, not you, not anybody who watches this. Hell, the people on Twitter, for once, are not actually in control, but they're all spitting the same advice. New categories for the controversial picks. Specifically, a best DLC/expansion category and a best remake/remaster, or if you want to give it a fancy name, best re-experience category. Why do I think they need these? Well, DLCs are an important and expensive part of gaming culture. Shadow of the Erdtree may be the best expansion ever in many people's eyes, but it's not the first of its kind, and if gaming continues the way it is, it definitely won't be its last. So, instead of forcing DLC to share slots with fully fledged video games, give them their own categories where they can shine like gold stars in their own right. I would have loved to see Shadow of the Erdtree, Persona 3 Reload the Answer, the new Diablo, more get their much deserved recognition for the amount of effort that went into them. Same goes for remakes and remasters. In this year alone, we got more than 5 different remasters, remakes, or ways to re-experience a video game. It's not offensive to give these types of gaming experiences their own avenue to compete, rather than taking up spots for the newer ideas that came out that year. If you take out DLCs and remakes this year, those 2 spots in the Game of the Year section could have easily been filled by much more valid video games such as either Stellar Blade, Space Marines 2, Helldivers 2, Yakuza, and others. And by the looks of how often games get remade or remastered, games are literally always getting expansions. Yeah, throw away the best ongoing games category. Shit's outdated. It's time to elevate how the Game Awards give away their stuff, because adding DLCs to Game of the Year nominations only serves to make people angry. And look, there's no reason to be that worried about this. I already said that I think the Game Awards have slight tendencies to include things that aren't going to win. So do I think Shadow of the Erdtree actually has a shot? No. However, I think it's important to realize that the Game Awards at the end of the day are metal cups that we never see. They're just like, they take the cups home and then we never see it again. However, it's about the recognition, because if I'm being real with you guys, my favorite game of all time, before Metaphor of course, never won an award. My favorite movie of all time, never won an award. My favorite album of all time, never won an award. However, I would have liked the recognition that they could have gotten at said events. And it goes the same way for video games. Just because something doesn't win the award doesn't mean it's not profiting from the recognition it gets for the nomination. That's why people are upset that you have remakes and DLCs in the Game of the Year category, because other games aren't getting recognized for their quality. And again, if you think Shadow of the Erdtree is the best gaming experience this year, that's great. Some people agree with you. I agree with you if 2 games didn't exist this year. However, I think it's important to recognize that a fully fledged new idea deserves to prosper more over a DLC that, no offense, was always guaranteed to be successful. So, bottom line, no DLCs in the Game of the Year category. Yes, we have to ostracize and segregate them off. No racial, we love them anyway.
Alright, Jeff, if we follow these steady guidelines, we can save the Keighley Awards. Jeff, what is that pot telling you? Jeff, you let it bribe you with what? God damn it, Jeff.